All right, guys. I think we're live. Shane's already telling on you guys. Looks like we got 20 thumbs up currently. That's pretty cool. So obviously Shane is in the house. This is, what did I say? 28 weeks? 28 weeks in a row. 28, guys. We're doing it. This is we're over half a year into Corvette Weekly. So now that we're over half a year, we need some thumbs ups. But guys, we got a lot of really cool information to talk about tonight. You saw the thumbnail there, so I guess not all of it is cool. Some of it kind of sucks because that particular Z06 that was wrecked could have, of course, been one of ours, and it would have been a lot cooler sitting in my garage versus being wrecked on an interstate. It looks like, but we got some more big news tonight, and it's going to kind of fit right into the car of the week that you guys are seeing on the screen here. So for those of you just joining, if you haven't been on the show before, this car over here that you can see sitting right beside me here, this is what we call the car of the week. So weekly, that will change, and it could be your car. So for an entire hour, that's how long our Corvette Weekly shows last, it could be your car sitting there, earning some respect via the Corvette community. But today, the car that you see sitting there in front of you, that is Steve's new C8 Corvette. So last week, we introduced Jason's new C8, and this week we introduced Steve's. Now, Steve's C8 here, it has a really cool story behind it. I'm going to let Jason and Steve tell the story because it's a really awesome story. And obviously, there's a bunch of you guys out there waiting for your C8s, so we'll let you live vicariously through Jason and Steve here. So whichever one of you want to start the story off, go ahead.
A while back when Steve ordered his C8 from Stonebriar Chevrolet, I asked him, who his salesman was, and he let me know. So I got in contact with John, and I told him that, number one, we wanted to, play a little, trick on Steve. So I've always had to push him to not call Corvette Concierge, but instead to call his dealership. And, we would often talk about how, poorly the concierge is as far as their information. And honestly, that's kind of true, but that wasn't the point. We wanted to keep Steve in the dark about when his car was actually coming. So it worked out really well. And Stonebriar, they were great to work with on this. And so, I told Steve, it was time for him to get another oil change in his car. So I said, well, you might as well just take it up to Stonebriar, have them do it. He's like, yeah, that's cool. And then I said, listen, they're going to allow us to do an oil change, and we'll just go ahead and film it. So he's like, okay, yeah. That's cool. Let's do that. First of all, I mean, Chevrolet's a pretty big dealership. The fact that he believed that they would let us use the bay in the first place was pretty impressive. I couldn't believe he fell for it. But let me step back, because if any of you guys know Steve, he's super OCD. He has a lot of questions. He wants to know everything all the time. It's not easy to trick somebody who is always involved with everything, and to kind of keep everything straight between the dealership and myself. And, and Justin was in on this. Tim from Dad's Garage was aware, we were all kind of, working an angle. So anyway, Veterans Day is coming up as well. So, of course, we plan to do something for all the veterans out there, and we thank them for their service. But anyway, so I take Steve back to the back, and, I tell him, say, listen, there's an issue with your car. And he's like, no. And again, if you know Steve, anger is already like brimming at the top. It doesn't take much. You can tell Steve, hey, listen, man, I think somebody put a little bit of dust on your car, and he's going to lose his mind. How dare my car be dusty? And so anyway, so, there's an issue with your car, but we think it'll be okay. So let's go back to the bay where we were going to do the oil change. And so anyway, we go back to the back, and his car's not there. And we walk up, and the only thing is there is a red C8. And so he's kind of like looking around like, what's going on? And I said, heck, I don't even remember what I even said. Now it's been, several days, but, I was like, I said, this is the same spec you have. He's like, yeah, exactly. And I said, actually, the problem with your C8, your C7 is that you no longer have it. This is your C8. You could tell that like things are spinning in his head, but he's not being able to grasp it. And I reached out and I handed him the keys. I said, you know, happy Veterans Day. This is your C8. And dude, like, you see tears coming welling up. And well, once it kind of registered in his head that this was real, it really was his car. I wasn't just jacking with him. And that was the prank, not that it's not really his. And that was the prank. Yeah. It was really his car. I mean, you could see the emotion in him. It was awesome. It was really cool to see.
Well, the cool part is Jason filmed this whole thing.
Yeah.
And it'll be out probably this Sunday. Yeah. He's going to put it out. And it's pretty good. He's the only person that's ever pranked me. Now he's pranked me twice.
Yep.
So I got to interrupt this because Elijah said Steve's going to blast you with a leaf blower when you're asleep. I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that was the thing. To keep him from being suspicious, I can't just walk around filming because he's going to be like, why are you filming? That doesn't make any sense. So that was the whole reason why, you know, we had to, and let me tell you, I had to really do some working with the dealership on making that part of it even happen. But yeah, I had to have a reason to be filming. So I said, yeah, we're going to film an oil change. Because if not, he's going to be like, why in the heck are we walking around? Why are you filming me? You know, so that would have never worked. So I had to come up with some kind of an idea to make him not be suspicious, because it would have never happened. You know, I couldn't have pulled it off. So it was a lot of fun, man. He was, to say that, I mean, literally, like, I kid you not, you guys got to watch the video. He gets a tear in his eye, man. It was impressive. He was.
I kid you not. I spent Sunday at least 45 minutes just sitting in the car.
Yeah.
Just sitting in it. I love it. I love it.
He talks about this car every single day. Every single day. Oh, I can't wait to get this car. It's taking too long. I can't wait to get this car. Man.
Ralph Cruz says, "Congratulations, Steve. You deserve it."
Hey,
now, what's really interesting about that, though, is that Ralph Cruz also got a new car today.
He got a C8.
He got a 70th anniversary C8. Yeah.
Woo!
So congratulations go both ways here, I guess, Ralph.
Yeah, we need to do his car up there next week, man.
Yeah. Shoot me an email with the pictures and over to the Vette Syndicate Instagram. I've got a couple different emails, and honestly, guys, if you've sent me emails of your car, you don't have to resend them. I still have them. We're going to go through all of them, but if you have any new pictures, of course, you can always resend them. Anybody who wants the possibility of getting up here for Corvette of the week, or car of the week, I guess, because it doesn't necessarily even have to be a Corvette, but it makes more sense to be a Corvette. If you want to have a shot at getting up here, just shoot me an email with some nice pictures of your car, and you could be up here next week. Shane says we got 60 thumbs ups. Could really use a couple more than that. But what we're going to talk about a little bit, guys, before we jump into the Z06 news, is a little bit of the ownership experience that both of these guys below me here have started to experience with the C8 Corvette. You guys know I've already had a C8 Corvette. I sold it in preparation for the Z06, which, yeah, you know that story. But basically, these two guys are experiencing the C8 for the first time, and they're both experiencing it as a previous or even current C7 Corvette owner as well. So they have a little bit of a different experience going on. So let's hear from Jason first. I know he's going to have a little less to say than Steve, but
I actually have a unique. Let me ask you, Justin, have you ever been pulled over in your C8?
No.
So I have the distinct privilege of probably having the least amount of time behind the wheel and the least amount of miles on my car before being pulled over by the cops.
Oh yeah. You may have the world record, Jason.
Yeah.
Not just out of us three.
I know. Literally, the first time I took it out of my neighborhood, got down to the stoplight, and I'm already getting pulled over. So, and I wasn't speeding or anything, but I swear to you on my life, when the cop pulled up to me, because I'm driving through the light and I see him, I'm like, holy crap, I'm already getting pulled over. I mean, I knew why. It's something that happens to me all the time. So it's not like it's that abnormal.
It happens to the people that are with you as well. Like,
yes, it does.
I came down to Texas, what was this, 2 years ago now to drive this Lamborghini, and I'm in the freaking car for probably not even 10 minutes and we get pulled over.
Yep. So I got pulled over for that. Although this time it really wasn't my fault. It wasn't a YouTube. It just says Boardwalk Chevrolet because I don't have the car registered. So I go through the light anyway. I see his lights flash. I'm like, dude, really? So I go and I pull into this little shopping area, and he walks up And I said, man, I did not know you were behind me. I said, I just stole this car not 5 minutes ago.
Did you really?
I'm like, and you're already pulling me over.
Did you really say that?
On my life, I
Holy
swear to
crap,
you, if you
man.
give me a Bible, you know,
Got a
I
ballsy
didn't
guy
figure
here.
he was
Holy
going to
crap.
like whip out a gun and shoot
Yeah,
me. And
I
I
was gonna
wasn't worried
say.
about trying to get out of a ticket because I didn't think he would give me one because I wasn't like, I was breaking the law, but it wasn't breaking the law. I
Right.
can't help it that my car isn't registered. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so I literally was on my way to get an inspection done so I can get it registered. And so I was like, whatever. Anyway, and he was cool. He just kind of smiled, laughed. Anyway, he asked me for my license, and I said, okay. I gave him my license, gave him the MSO so he could look at it. Anyway, it was funny. He was cool. But I actually really like the car. It seems to drive though completely different with the dual clutch than obviously a manual does. And while I think I'm gonna like it, I also think I'm gonna not like I'm gonna like it, but I'm gonna want to go back and drive the C7 as well. I just want both. I want that best of both worlds.
Yeah. My experience with it was the C8 Corvette is definitely the next generation of Corvette.
Yeah.
A lot of people will tell you it's not a Corvette because people for some reason are super against change. I 100% feel it is a Corvette. The difference for me was there is more of a disconnect between the driver and the road than there is on the C7. Now that's a good thing and a bad thing.
Right.
Good thing in the fact that it's a lot more comfortable to drive. It's going to feel less like I'll put it in quotes, go-kart, but it comes at it's, those come with expenses of not having the same feel and having less of a sports car feel to it.
Right.
Now,
it really does. Yeah, you're right.
Now, I think both of those issues will be addressed with the Z06 if I had to guess. And again, we have to keep it in our minds when we're comparing these cars that this is the Stingray. This is not the top of the line. This is not the last version of the C8 we're going to see. So me comparing it from a ZR1 aspect and even Jason comparing it from a Z06 aspect, we're comparing, I don't want to say apples to oranges because it's still pretty similar. It's like we're comparing red apples to green apples. Like there's still enough of a difference here that it doesn't quite compute. But yeah. Now Steve actually has a little bit of a different experience with it. So Steve, if you want to go ahead.
For me, I probably had the most unique, I guess. I'm going from a 1LT Stingray to a 2LT C8. And that alone, with all the options, that was the best decision I ever made, was calling Justin. Let's talk about the 1LT versus the 2LT, because I was a 1LT person. I was like, I'm not paying $7,500 more. And it was the best decision I ever made. There's so many things in that thing. I love it. But for me, I've been saying it rides like a Cadillac, but drives like a Ferrari, like Corvette, kind of thing. It's so smooth. And I'm a manual person, but be real honest. I was telling this Jason today. They said, hey, you get a manual in this car or a dual clutch. I'm probably going to say a dual clutch. Even though I love the manual, I do love how fast it just shifts. Like, it shifts so quick. The only thing I'm missing is that you're not like part of the car, if that makes the most sense. That's the biggest drawback. You're just not part of the car.
That kind of fits back into what I was saying about there's a little bit of a disconnect between the car and the driver now. But again, that's a good thing or a bad thing. It depends on how you which aspect you want to look at. But there was something I was going to mention. Oh, I wanted to talk about the fact that I didn't see this comment until just now that Dad's Garage is going to be getting a C8 Corvette here very soon as well.
Yeah.
I have heard that, but I forgot to put it up here on the screen for everybody else to see. So the three guys from Texas are all going to have C8 Corvettes very soon. And guys, Jason mentioned it earlier. Vette Syndicate's doing a show for the veterans on November 11th, right? Saturday?
Yeah.
12th.
Yeah.
12th. Okay. So I'm going to be in attendance as well. I'm flying in probably either Wednesday or Thursday to hang out with these guys and do.
And Shane will be there.
Yep. Shane as well. The guy who tells on all of you guys saying we only got 70 thumbs up. We got 140 people watching and only half of you have clicked thumbs ups. Come on. Steve just got the car of his dreams. Give him a thumbs up.
Hey.
You got to get a thumbs up for that.
Ralph, I can tell you what we're going to do. We're not going to get an all-electric car.
Yeah, that's not any of us on this screen right here. I will have an electric car when you literally cannot get a gas-powered car. That's when I'll have an electric one.
Yeah. I hate electric
And even then,
and then your house light bill will be $700 a month, and you won't be able to,
be more than that.
Charge it anyway.
I'm saying 7,000.
Yeah,
Not
it's going to be ridiculous.
But
I'm for the E-Ray though. E-Ray, I'll go for an E-Ray, but I won't go full electric.
I'm good with hybrid. Fully electric is where things start to fall apart for me. But
let's talk about really quick. Let's talk about build times because somebody talked about there how quick these are coming.
Yeah.
My real build time, and I already know that. I think Ralph Cruz beat me. I think is who was on there talking. My real build time was ordered August 21st. It was built October 6th. So that's 6 weeks. So I technically had it in 7 weeks.
Yeah.
If you look with Jason. So
yeah. Well,
pretty
Jason,
quick.
Tell us how quick you had yours.
So mine was the third week of July, and I had mine at early October. Like, I've had my car for a couple weeks now, I believe, but it was also at the dealership in California for like 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks before I got it, because paperwork and, doing everything from Texas and there. So it was about 2 weeks, and then shipping, of course, and all that. So mine came in about a month ago. So
you're saying your build was how long?
It was right at like 8 weeks.
8
yeah,
weeks?
but that's still fast.
It was.
Yours came in faster than Steve's though, and he said 5 weeks.
It did, but remember, like I said, mine sat at the dealership for 2 weeks. A week and a half or whatever at the dealership. Then it took another week to get there because I got mine about a month ago.
And also,
it came in a month ago.
Full disclosure. Here's full disclosure on my build. I paid $9,000 over. I paid $5,000 over MSRP. They were charging a $7,500, basically get to the top of the list. And we talked about that if I could get it, I would come back when I got it and do a video, because my other dealership, once I got it, well, they don't have to worry about doing that now. But
saved you the trip.
Even 9,000 over at that time was great. Even now, I don't have a problem with it. I literally was on the next allocation. It was like, I went in the next week, they ordered it.
Yeah.
So, and I got mine from MSRP, but I had to pay shipping. So basically, if you want to look at it, I paid $1,700 over MSRP because I had to ship it to Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. So guys, we have Doug Hooks saying, thanks for taking care of the vets. I want to make sure that everybody understands, everybody knows about this show because we're still working out the venue, but we're relatively sure of where it's going to be located. It's obviously going to be in the DFW area. It's going to be in Texas, obviously. Us three here are kind of putting it together. We're going to have it set up in a way that benefits veterans. We're going to be donating to a charity that we're still working with. But it's going to be on the 12th, on Saturday the 12th. And we're thinking it's going to start around 11 or 12 in the afternoon. Yeah. So if you're in the area, definitely stay tuned for this. It's going to be all over my channel, all over Steve's, all over Jason's, and all over the Vette Syndicate Instagram stuff. So,
and if you guys will help promote it for us on your Facebooks or whatever for people that are in the DFW area, we'd really appreciate it because it's not even for us, man. This is for veterans.
Yep. So all of the proceeds are going to go to veterans. We're not taking anything from it. So, with that said, you are going to hear more about this. So, like I said, it's going to pop up all over the channels, all over the websites that you guys are obviously looking at here. So, if you forget about it, we'll make sure to remind you. But at the same time, if you can, go ahead and reshare it once you see it pop up. It will definitely help to get as many Corvette people there as possible, as many veterans there as possible. It'd be awesome. Bill Smith asked, Justin, did you price your Z06 yet? And what was the final cost? I've priced a couple different versions of what I'm going to get depending on whether or not I have to pay over MSRP. If I don't pay over MSRP, it's pretty much maxed out, and it's going to be around between 160 and 180, depending on whether or not I have to pay over MSRP.
How much?
160 to 180. 160 if I have to pay over MSRP, 180 if I don't.
That's a heck of a price for a Z06, man.
Yeah, I know. Brian, that is not a poster or a sticker. That is actually a piece of aluminum from a company called Petrol Vibes. They actually make the custom silhouettes of any cars you want. On the other wall, if you look at 2 weeks ago, the live we did, I had the C8 Z06 and my ZR1 silhouette back there. I put the ZR1 in front of my computer now, but those are really cool because you can send them any car you want and they can make a silhouette of it, even if they don't have one. They didn't have one for my ZR1. I had to send them a picture of my car and they made one from the picture. So it's pretty cool. Shane says that we got 90 thumbs ups with 130 people watching, guys. We could really use a little bit more of those thumbs ups. If you guys like this silhouette right here, definitely check out petrolvibes.com. They can make a custom car, whatever it is you want. Ralph Cruz, 5K over. Is that what you paid for that car? That's not the car you actually ordered though, right? It was already sitting on the lot and you just went and got it today. Or did your order actually come in and you just picked it up? I guess I should have asked you that on the phone. I didn't. Yeah. So guys, right now we are looking to have the show for the Veterans Day thing at Black Rifle Coffee. This could change though, so don't put any of this in stone yet. 11-second Eclipse says he's late, but he just dropped a thumbs up as soon as he got here. That's why we like you, man. That's why we like you. Brian, I believe they start at like $200. Depends on how big you go with it. This is a size below the biggest you could get. DeVaries King, I did. I saw the video. It's pretty cool. I'm glad somebody finally reached out to him. I figured they would because, you know, he's obviously a pretty high profile YouTuber. 95 thumbs up currently, guys. We could still use a little bit more. I know. All I ever do is sit here and beg for thumbs ups, but it really does help the channel. It helps the whole Vette Syndicate crew here. Yeah.
We always appreciate it.
Yep. Kerry Glock. We saw that Street Speed got that. Okay. So Ralph Cruz. Yeah. It just came in today. They called him in the morning. That's awesome. I thought you ended up buying one that was just on the lot. That's really cool though. Congratulations again. River Mutt says, are they still giving $5,000 after 6 months? Then don't buy any dealer installed parts. I haven't heard that they're not doing that, so I assume that they are. Steven says his took 6 weeks to come in and he only paid 25 over. That's not bad. 2,500, I should say. Not 25,000. Which dealership did you go with, Steven? I know you're pretty local to me, so I'm curious. All right, guys. Shane says we're at 100 thumbs ups. Still got 130 people watching. We could use a little bit more. That'd be awesome. If you're liking the content, you're liking talking about Corvettes, if you like the idea of having your Corvette displayed on this channel right over here, hit that thumbs up button and then send me a picture of your Corvette to horsepowerobsessed@gmail.com. It is petrolvibes.com is where you can get that thing behind me right there. 105 thumbs ups. Boy, that's climbing pretty quick, guys. We appreciate it. You're really helping the channel. You're helping the Vette Syndicate. You're helping the Corvette community when you do that. Bowser. That's right up here by us, right? Yeah. Bowser's not too far from me. That's pretty cool. Kerry Glock says, are all front lifts being recalled for a leaking seal? No. So the last I heard is the cap for the reservoir that holds the fluid needed to be replaced because they used the wrong material, wrong like rubber basically. So all you really have to do is replace that cap. Justin Penn. This is a question I get a lot, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you here. It's not an issue. If you haven't sat in a C8 Corvette yet, you should do so, because I have heard other people say this too, that there's less cabin area in a C8 and you feel more cramped than you do in a C7. That is not my experience. If anything, I would say it's the other way around. I would say you feel a little more cramped in the C7 than you do in the C8. So
do you think maybe because everything is right there on you in the C8,
it might,
like it's a perspective, but you're not really cramped?
It might be like a claustrophobic thing, maybe.
Yeah.
But they're cubic inches wise, there is more room in a C8.
Right.
Go ahead, Steve.
I got in my C8. Okay, I'm 6'1", and my C7 I'm fully back. And when I set in it down, I still I could feel my hair kind of touching it, right? So in the C8, it's the first car that I've ever had to push the seat forward and raise the seat up. It's weird.
Yeah.
So there's more room in that car.
Cubic inches wise, if you look at GM's like specifications of the cars, there's more room in the C8 cockpit than there is in the C7. And Justin, yeah, if you haven't sat in one yet, do yourself a favor and go sit in one, because you'll notice the same thing right off the bat, I'm sure. Elijah says, does the 1LZ have front lift standard? No. The front lift is an option on any trim level.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Nikki? How you doing?
Where's my hello, Nikki?
Jason.
Exactly.
She doesn't know you. She doesn't know you. All right, guys, we got 110 thumbs up, currently 149 watching. Guys, that means 40 of you guys not clicking thumbs ups. I'd really be appreciative if you could do that. Ralph Cruz says he's 5'5" with no hair, so he doesn't have that problem.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
I'm 5'11" with no hair, and with my hair probably 6 foot. So that my hair is an issue when I get in my car for sure.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears here. No pun intended, or maybe there is pun intended. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Shifting gears.
We're going to talk a little bit about some of the information about the Z06, guys. So the Z06, as of right now, you know, last week we talked, it was 30 of them had been built. And of the 30, the majority of them were convertible. So that's pretty cool. But we don't really know, other than Rick Hendricks, we don't really know which one or who personally owns those builds. But now we do. We know at least one more. So we're going to switch over to the web browser here. And we're looking at, of course, the midenginecorvetteforum.com. And this is a article here titled, obviously, Great News on my Z06 TPW. This is a girl we've talked about before. Her name's Cali Girl. She was one of the first ones to get a 3,000 status. And she is now at 3,300 status with a target production week of November 7th. So her car is going to be built in, about 2 weeks? And once that car's built, obviously, she's going to have a little bit of quality control afterwards, maybe a week or two by then. She'll have the car before the end of November. So pretty cool. If you guys are waiting for the Z06, if any of you were out there were lucky enough to get this thing, it's coming relatively soon. Now, I'm curious. In this chat right now, we got 150 people on here. Raise your hand in here if you're actually on the list for a Z06 and have at least a 3,000 status. I'm curious if anybody in this chat right now is waiting on a Z06, like legitimately. With that said, we got 115 thumbs ups, 150 people watching. Would be cool if we could make those numbers match.
Is Dr. Corvette still in here? Doesn't he have like a build pretty soon?
Yeah, Dr. Corvette, I did see him in here. If he's on here, then yes, we'll have at least one person in here waiting. He says me. So
yeah, I thought so.
Dr. Corvette, you've got a Corvette Z06 coming, obviously. What are you at a 3,000 status or higher at this point? Jerry says he's waiting for VIR and Laguna Seca lap times. I think for the most part, a lot of people are kind of waiting for these lap times. We still haven't gotten anything from Nürburgring. Still waiting on even the Pittsburgh, the pit race track times. The people that went down there and spent some time with the car at pit race, for some reason, none of them gave us any track numbers. I mean, they spent some time with the car. I don't know why that wouldn't have been one of the first things. Dr. Corvette, I'm curious if you're at a 3,000 status or higher.
He said thumbs up. So, okay. Yeah, still at 3.
Okay. He says, I'm at 3,000 status. Been there for 3 months. Wow. That's crazy. Elijah says it will blast C7 ZR1 times. I'm hesitant to believe that, to be honest with you, and I have a feeling that might be why we're not getting any information about this, is because it's not doing that. But I hope I'm wrong. I really do, because I want this car to be everything that GM's touting it to be, and I really hope that it is. But it kind of seems a little bit, I don't know. It seems odd we haven't gotten more information, but yeah. So Stupid Fast Truck says, do the TPWs slide out a week when, for instance, the plant was closed last week? Normally, yes, but it depends on when, of course. Now, for those of you who don't know, the plant has been closed since last Monday, and it just reopened today, as far as I know. There has been no confirmation of that, but typically if it didn't reopen, they would have said that it hasn't. So if there's basically no news is good news on that front. So if we haven't heard anything, the plant is reopened after a week. Obviously, if GM had told you that your production week was last week, it is going to be shifted forward a week at this point. Bill Smith says, how do we find out if our dealer is getting allocations? There's one way and one way only. Give him a call. Yeah,
Exactly.
give him a call and ask him if you got any allocations. We have road and track times. I haven't seen those yet. I'll have to take a look. Dr. Corvette says, I got an email today. What did that email say? Did it say something about you getting built? People at 3,000 status are already getting their cars? Question mark. Nope. Nobody's gotten their car yet. 3,000 status doesn't guarantee you anything as far as getting your car. It's just that GM has picked up your order and your car will be built. 120 thumbs up, guys. What was that?
I'm sure there's a lot of people like yourself would love to just be on 3,000 status.
Yeah.
If I was at 3,000 status on that car right now, I don't even know. I would be insanely happy. That thing, it's such a freaking beastly car. Like, it's no wonder it's generating so much hype, because the Z06 is just like unlike anything we've seen. Got 120 thumbs up, guys. Looks like 150 people still watching. So we got a difference of 30 there. It'd be pretty cool if you could smash that thumbs up button. Great White North Corvette is in the house. Great White, you missed Steve. This is his car over here in the car of the week, basically, spot. His C8 came in. So Jason and Steve both got their C8s within a week of each other. Was it a week or 2 weeks?
About 2.
2 weeks, okay. Yeah. Okay, so Kevin Horan is in here. Yeah, so that is target production week. So, Kevin, that basically means if you get that, that's when your car is scheduled to be built.
Hey, General Lee.
Yep.
General Lee's in the house. What's up, man? Greetings. Sorry, late to the party. What did I miss? Steve.
My car.
Steve got his car. So this one sitting here to my right is his car. If you remember last week, we were talking about Jason taking delivery of his. They got their cars about a week or 2 weeks apart.
Yeah.
But they both just got brand new C8s. Steve's is red. Jason's is yellow, of course.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. We would have never guessed any of these things.
You know what? We could have pranked everybody else if we would have flipped and he got yellow and I got red.
Like, guess what color I'm getting? And everybody'd be like, yellow. And be like, nope, it's red.
I do love the yellow, though. I do love the yellow.
Yeah.
Just got here. Can I ask about the thumbnail of the Z06 that crashed? Yeah, we're about to talk about that in a second here. So stick around for another couple minutes and we'll talk a little bit about it.
I did not finance mine. So
I did.
I don't know.
The question here is, did Jason or Steve finance any part of their C8 purchase? Just curious, if so, what kind of interest rate they got?
I did $26,000 down because that was the equity in my Corvette. Oh, actually, it was $30,000. I took $4,000 out, but $26,000 down, and I'm doing a thing called a flex loan. So my interest rate is 3.25%. My payments are $640 a month for 5 years, and at the end of 5 years, I can either, it's like a lease kind of thing. I don't turn it in. If I want to turn it in and give it to them, they can, but I won't do that. But I can buy it or refinance it, and I will only owe $21,000. So in 5 years. So Hey, a Corvette for $640 a month, can't beat that.
Yep.
And if you're looking for where you can get it at, it's CU Texas, Credit Union of Texas. Great. I mean, it was quick. I got financed within 1 minute, and I knew that it was that quick. Walked in and bought the car. The dealership didn't like it though. They don't, because they make money off. But even my finance guy said if I was financing the car, it'd be $500 more a month.
Oh wow.
On conventional, because their interest rates were like almost 7.
Yeah, interest rates in general are going up, so getting one at 3% is pretty freaking good nowadays. 11-second Eclipse says, "Congrats, Steve. Looks awesome." That's the majority of what he said. Steven Rapp says, "So I'm trying to understand you guys. Just getting your first C8. Mine was a 2020 delivered first week of 2021 at MSRP." Yeah, so Steven, Jason and Steve are both just getting their C8 Corvette. I don't know, Jason got his about 2 weeks ago. Steve just got his a couple days ago. But both brand new 2023s. So they're going to have a lot of content coming for the Vette Syndicate and their channels individually.
And JR, I still have the C7 C06.
Yeah.
Yes, if I thought it was worth it, but yeah, because I didn't get rid of the C7.
Yes, our TPW, mine was on schedule.
Got 125 thumbs up, guys. We got 170 people watching. Be pretty cool if those numbers would match.
Maddie.
Hey, Maddie's Garage.
Maddie's Garage is on. Better late than never. What's up, man? It is better late than never. I agree. Bill Smith says, "Justin, you didn't go to Click Lewis. Where did you go?" Yeah, so Bill, we're going to have a lot more information about this coming in the future, but I do not go to Click Lewis anymore. Click Lewis lied to me about charging MSRP for their cars, and I found out that they were charging over MSRP for the Z06 in a weird way. So I kind of severed ties there because I was telling all you guys how they charge MSRP, and I found out the hard way that they do not. For the Z06, they were making you pay donating to a charity. And I found out that that charity is also in their back pocket. So didn't like that. Removed myself from the situation. I do not visit Click Lewis anymore at this time. There will be more information on that coming in the future, but don't go to Click Lewis.
Steve, they have a question. Where was your loan through, your flex loan through?
Credit Union of Texas.
What he said, what kind of loan was that?
No, he said
it's a flex loan. It's called a flex loan.
If you call Credit Union of Texas and say that Steve sent you, they'll understand.
Yeah.
If you just type in the word Credit Union of Texas flex loan, you'll see it. That's how I found out about it. You can literally get approved within 1 minute. It's crazy. Great
White North Corvette says, "Congratulations, Steve, on the new C8. It looks awesome in the garage. Looks great." C8 Convertible, 130 thumbs up with 163 watching. That's cool, guys. Let's make those two numbers match. I'd appreciate it. Steven Rapp says, "Awesome. I feel like an old guy having a 2020. I had a 2020 as well, man. I sold it in preparation for the Z06, and that Z06 is not coming fast enough." Congratulations, boys, on the new rides. Thanks, Maddie.
Hey.
Thank you, Maddie.
Handyman Clutch says, "Am I the only one still up in the air on the looks of the Z06? Kind of has a weird cheek look on the front with the new air intakes looking kind of weird. Hoping it looks better with some mods."
No,
Handyman,
I love it.
I was going to say, if you haven't seen one of these in person yet, that's going to be the deal breaker. I was a little on the fence myself until I saw one in person. It takes the C8 that already looks good and just improves tenfold on it without actually changing anything major. So I don't know exactly how it works because the cars look very similar, but somehow the Z06 just looks massively different, even though it looks similar. So
it took me a long time to get on board with, because I was super excited about a mid-engine Corvette because I've always loved mid-engine cars. I was so excited, and then I was so completely underwhelmed when the C8 came out. I was like, all right, well, next.
Yep.
I mean, yes, I do like it now. I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't. However, it did take me a while. The Z06, the second I saw it, I freaking loved it. Yep. And then when I saw it in person, I loved it even more. You and I saw it in Miami, and I was like, the yellow I really liked, but when I saw it in red, I walked into the dealership and I mean, I swear my eyes just like exploded out of my head. I don't know, man. It just, I love it. I love it.
And this kind of answers the question that I think it was Steven Rapp had earlier about you guys just now getting his C8. I can't remember about Steve's take on it, but I know Jason initially was not a huge fan of the look, and I think Steve wasn't either. The more time you spend around these things, the more you start to enjoy what you're seeing, because you start to notice the little details and the little things that add up. So again, if you haven't seen a C8 Z06 in person yet, go check one out before you make a conclusion or draw the conclusion that you don't like it. Jose Watkins Z06 says, walkthrough video on Steve's car coming soon. I think we could have that. We could have that maybe next week, right, Steve?
Oh, I should do that. Yeah. Might as well start filming something.
Exactly.
Not just that, if you just want to film like a real quick walk around with your phone and throw it up here, we can play it next week on the live.
Yeah.
Maddie says, what's up to Great White North Corvette? Shane says we're at 135 thumbs ups with about 180 people watching. Be cool if those numbers matched. Oren L says he's number 789 on C8 Corvette. Is that a 2-year wait? That's that's at least a 2-year wait, possibly more. With the rate that they're cranking these cars out at this point,
that might even be a 20-year wait.
That could, I was gonna say that could be 5+ years, unless they start really ramping up the production of these things. Even being 700 on that list, you're waiting a while. Paper Tiger says, I miss your 2020, Justin. I know. I do too. I mean, if I would have had any idea that the Z06 was going to take this long, I would have kept my 2020 for a longer period of time. 140 thumbs up currently. That's awesome, guys. We appreciate the support for sure. Yeah, so that was another thing we wanted to talk about today was the amount of people getting their Z06s or getting the target production week on their Z06. So again, we're going to flip over to the browser for those of you just joining. We have some people on the Corvette, the mid-engine Corvette forum, talking about the fact that they've got their target production week already. This person's name is called Cali Girl. She's not a YouTuber. She's not an Instagram influencer. She's not a celebrity of any kind, but she's got a target production week of November 7th already. So that's her spec right there too. It looks like the 70th anniversary edition, and it looks awesome. She's got it coming in less than, or being built in less than 2 weeks. She'll probably have it in about a month, if I had to guess. And that's pretty cool. So not just her, but I saw somebody else in the comment section mentioned Speed Phenom. I guess he made a video talking about the fact that his is getting in production as well. Same kind of thing as Cali Girl here. I guess they got an email saying that your Z06 was going into production next or something like that. So I know of at least 2 people who are getting their cars built, but I wanted to really talk about and really focus on this Cali Girl one here because she's not an influencer. She's not famous. She's just a normal person. And I know at least one other guy who can't comment in a section here, but is just a normal guy too, who's also getting one soon. And that's Z06 Mike. He's on the Discord channel and he usually watches these lives, but I met him for the first time when I was down in Florida this past week. He's a cool dude. His Z06 is coming and he's just a normal guy. He's not famous. He's not an influencer. So if you guys are waiting on a Z06, it doesn't really matter if you're a YouTuber or not. It looks like it's still coming relatively soon. Brian Greer says, Justin, do you have any posters left? Which poster are you referring to, Brian? I mean, I have my car posters. I still have some of those left. Let's see what else we got here. General Lee says, so team, I updated my Z06 order. Got the Z07 Aero exposed carbon fiber with big brakes and 4S tires without the Z07 package.
That's awesome.
Huh.
I didn't know you could do that, but that's pretty
I was going to
sweet.
say that I didn't know you could do that either. At that point, I'm kind of stumped as to why the Z07 package would be an extra $8,000 because you got everything already. Handyman Clutch says, also just want to say, love watching y'all's video. Super cool group of guys. We appreciate it, Handyman Clutch. I think I speak for us all whenever I say thank you.
Absolutely.
So I'm number 267 at Sioka, and I have my doubts. I did hear they're building around 10 a day. Right now they're probably building, I think I heard 1 or 3 a day right now. Now that will ramp up, of course, hopefully, as production, gets a little bit more caught up. But yeah, I mean, even at 10 a day, that's really not a whole lot considering they're building somewhere between 100 and almost 200 C8s a day. So,
it looks like it sometimes when I'm on the road.
Yeah. I mean, the C8s are finally starting to catch up in production where if I take a drive from my house to the store and back, I'll see at least one C8. And it used to be you could go 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks without ever seeing any. So, and down where Jason lives, of course, there's a lot more cars on the road. So he's probably seeing multiples a day.
Yeah. And I drive a lot, so that also helps. But yeah.
Yeah, down in Florida, if I stand outside of the shop for an hour, and this actually isn't a lie, I was down there with Z06 Mike was there too, but Silver Fox, I was looking at his car, and while we were just standing there, I saw 2 C8s go by during the hour or so I was standing out front.
Yeah.
Oh, you actually saw his car in person?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I made a video. I'll be putting the video out here shortly. Right. The spoiler is interesting, and the way that they chose to hide the holes
from
on the outside.
Yeah.
It's actually an interesting concept because I didn't even notice it until he pointed it out to me that it was even done that way.
What did you think of the spoiler?
I liked it. It does look good on the car. Now it is different. It's not 100% copy.
How does it feel?
It felt good. I mean, it is bolted to the frame.
All right.
It's not 100% copy of a Z07 spoiler. It is slightly altered to fit the C8 skinniness, I guess I should say.
Yeah. Right. Well, hopefully we'll get to see one if Bill comes to the next event. He's got it on his C8.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The one with the fully silver C8. Yeah.
So Michael Matarazzo's on here. He's actually used to be part of the Click Lewis crew. He can kind of attest to what I was saying about Click Lewis charging over for the Z06, but
yeah,
he says with the Z07 stuff we were just talking about, he says it's the suspension and a few other track focus bits for the Z07 package, but you're right, you can option the F out of it without the Z07 package.
Oh wow.
Let's see what else we got here. Handyman Clutch says, what was your favorite color on the Z06 in person? I'm a fan of the red and the white, but I think black is the winner. Yeah, that's where I'm at, Handyman Clutch. I've seen the Z06 in person in red mist,
yes,
silver flare, torch red, and accelerate yellow. Or no, I guess even at Corvettes of Carlisle, I saw it in carbon flash
and amplify orange,
Elkhart Lake blue.
Yep.
Oh, and the white pearl tri-coat.
Yeah, the 70th.
So we've seen that car in almost every color.
The majority of the colors. Ceramic matrix gray we saw as well in the yard.
Ceramic. The only color we didn't see was caffeine.
Rapid blue.
And rapid blue.
What was the other one?
Caffeine.
Yeah, caffeine. They probably don't have one in caffeine yet, if ever. So, I mean, not that I don't like caffeine, I do, but it's just such an unproduced color.
Real quick, guys, talking about Click Lewis again, Michael Matarazzo here. He says they are way overcharging. And Michael Matarazzo was my salesman at Click Lewis. He's not at Click Lewis anymore. But they are charging over in a really kind of scummy way. So that's why I don't talk about Click Lewis anymore. So for those of you wondering why I'm not mentioning that dealership anymore, now you know.
So there's a couple people commenting red mist. I got to tell you, man, that red mist, it shows every line and angle in the car. In my opinion, maybe it was just the lighting of where it was parked, but oh my goodness, dude, you could see it so clearly in that red mist. It was awesome.
Yeah. So this is something that I've had a couple people ask me about. This is something that mostly Steve was working on. We were putting together a list of dealerships that were charging over MSRP for the Z06. Do we still have that list, Steve?
Well, we did on our thing, and I sent it to the guy that was in charge of it and didn't even answer.
Okay.
It's like, it's funny. He answered the first time, and then after I told him there was a list being compiled and he might have it, he went radio silent.
Mm-hmm.
We may still talk about that. Maybe we'll look into that for next week's live, guys. We do have a pretty significant list of dealers charging over MSRP and how much over they are. We did have a contact at GM that we were going to send this information to see if we could get something done, but looks like that might not be happening. We'll revisit this though, because the squeaky wheel gets the grease in this kind of thing. And if that's the case, we'll forward this list out to all you guys, and you guys can all forward it to the same guy. I'm sure he can't ignore us if we're all emailing him.
Oh.
Let's see. Hypersonic Gray. Yeah, we did see Hypersonic Gray as well. I forgot to mention that. That was there. All of the colors were at Corvettes at Carlisle except for Caffeine and Rapid Blue for the Z06 at least.
Was that silver flare that was there? Was that a Z06 or was that a C8? Just a Stingray. I can't remember.
No, that was a Z06. It was not a Z07 though.
Yeah.
One other thing we wanted to talk about, I'm going to flip over to the browser. There's not a lot of information here, but I did want to mention the fact that, obviously on the thumbnail here, the first Z06 has been crashed already. There's not a whole lot of info to go on, but it is one of those things that no one wants to see, especially whenever they're waiting for one of these cars. They're as hard as they are to get. Somebody managed to crash one, and to an extent that if I had to guess from that picture, it looks like it's going to be totaled because I can see inside the airbag went off. That rear wheel looks pretty bent up. I bet you they total that car. And
wow.
I mean, honestly, this is probably a captured test fleet anyway, so they'd probably total it regardless, but it's pretty crazy.
He was just stepping up the process.
Yeah. I mean, they will sell captured test fleet cars. They did for the C8. Eventually, after they're done testing them and stuff, they do turn them into a sellable car. So this one could have been sold, but not anymore. So anyway, guys, this was shared on Instagram from user ZR1_M7. I'm pretty sure I met him at Corvettes at Carlisle. I can't remember if it was him or another ZR1 guy that came up to me, but he follows me on Instagram, so I'm pretty sure it was him. He was a really cool dude. He actually has a ZR1 that's very similar to mine, but he runs a page obviously called ZR1_M7. And he shared the picture, and it just shows a black Z06 with bright aluminum spider design wheels. I don't know what that means. It's just your stock wheels there. Sitting at an intersection in front of a Bloomfield, Michigan fire truck. It looks like there may be some damage to the driver's side of the car with the wheel looking like it's askew. I said it was basically totaled, and that's pretty much what that paragraph is saying as well. Okay, so it looks like there's 31. That's not that great. So from last week to this week, there's only been one more C8 Z06 built. That's pretty slow. But the quality assurance hold on the 31 customer built Z06 is still in place. So the chance of this car being driven by a customer is totally moot. This car is likely part of the captured test fleet, like we were saying. It's operating in Motor City and was being driven by either a GM engineer or another who does third-party testing for General Motors. So
maybe it was that guy that drove the ZR1 in the Indianapolis 500.
No, that was Mark Royce. He's pretty high up in GM. I want to say he's like right below CEO basically. So I doubt if he wrecked another one, he's going to get fired. There's no
They're
way.
like, all right, we're taking your keys, man.
Yeah, you can't drive anymore, man. You're done.
Exactly. You're going to give him a Mustang.
But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. That's all the information we have on this one. More will probably come out in the following days, but like I said, it doesn't really matter. The car's going to pretty much be totaled, scrapped, parted out. I don't know. It's not going to be around much longer. So, let's see. Got 150 people or 150 thumbs up with 165 watching. That's pretty close. We appreciate some more thumbs ups, though. It's always a good thing. Stupid Fast Truck says he's not really a fan of the Z06 spoiler on a Stingray. It seems kind of like being a poser. And normally I would agree. But when I saw this thing in person, it's very fitting of the car. And the biggest problem, in my opinion, with the C8 Corvette is that there's two big problems. Number one, the stock wheels suck.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Number two, I'm not in love with the spoiler options. The best spoiler option for the base C8 is probably the high wing, and that's like okay. Now this is all, of course, my opinion. Yours may vary, but I like the idea of the Z07 wing availability because it kind of helps fix that spoiler issue, in my opinion.
Yeah. Although I got to tell you, I'm very excited because I do have the ACS Wickers ready to get those installed. Do a video with that. I think they'll look cool until a wing comes. Do I?
If it ever stops raining.
Yeah, I know.
We were going to do that today.
Moto Ranch says he's next in line at his local dealership for the Z06, just waiting for an allocation. Anyone else notice on the build tool, if you build a non-Z07 / non-aero but select ground effects, it displays dive planes. That's probably an error. I've noticed a couple different errors with the builder. One of the biggest ones is that it displays 3 aftermarket exhaust options that are clearly not for the Z06 because they're just normal C8 exhaust options. So GM's still probably, working with that whole thing. 155 currently with 155 watching. Score, says Shane. Thanks, Shane. Man. Bruno says he did the Wickers and very nice look. I had them on my car as well right before I took off the stock spoiler and put on the high wing. I really liked it too. If you're going to go with the Z51 style spoiler, the ACS Wickers are really the way to go. If you're willing to change the spoiler, I'd look at the high wing or now the Z07 style wing. That's the wing
the high wing's like the high wing's on back order for over 3 months already.
Yeah.
For an OEM.
Yeah. This is the problem. The parts supply issues.
Yeah, see, I remember when I ordered my car, I didn't have the option to order the high wing.
Right.
Then suddenly it became available, but I couldn't get my order switched in time. So that's why I got the Z51 spoiler, obviously. But I did want the high wing.
Yeah, Steve, you were going to go with the Z07 wing, right?
I was with the new one, the one that looks like a Z. Yeah, that's why I ordered my car without a wing at all, so I didn't have any holes. I only wanted the two. I didn't want to cover something up, but now, I mean, I do like the high wing though. So,
but I think we're both doing the ACS one when it comes out because they are working on it right now.
Yep. They're doing a few new products.
So neither one of you are going to go with the Z07 wing?
Yeah,
Yeah, both of us.
Huh. Mike Matarazzo, what are you able to get a high wing? So for those of you who don't know, Mike Matarazzo used to be the salesman over at Click Lewis. He is now at Whitmore. Still a salesman, but
I'll buy a high wing. I'll buy it right now. I'll buy it right now if somebody's got a high wing.
I got a high wing. 20 grand, it's yours. Bet you $100 I can get it. If you give me 20 grand, I will get you a high wing.
That'll be this like, let's swap C8s for ZR1. No. You'd be like,
I'll take both of your C8s for a Z01.
Exactly.
Shane says 158 thumbs up currently. Mike Matarazzo, I'm going to send you a text. Shoot me a text. I want to see what we can do for these guys to get some high wings. 11-second Eclipse says, go with the Z07 spoiler. Honestly, out of the two, I think I would too. Now it depends. It depends because there's 2 different Z07 spoilers on the market. One of them is a little, probably quite a bit better quality than the other.
Yeah, probably.
I was gonna say I'm gonna say probably because I have not seen both of them in person. I've only seen one, so we'll see.
But there's a company, and you know everything they make is high quality.
Yeah, the highest.
Mm-hmm.
160 thumbs up currently, guys. That's pretty cool. We're getting pretty
I
close
don't
to
want
our
to wait.
number.
I don't wait 4 months for a spoiler. So if I have to, I'll buy a high wing.
But you look so much like a Ferrari now. You got your plain colored wheels, red car, no wing.
It's like my car's like a flat-chested woman and needs a boot job. I'm going there.
No, I think your car looks good, and it doesn't offend me in any way, shape, or form that your car looks like a much, much, much more expensive car.
What?
I'm a
You
huge
think his
Ferrari
car looks
fan.
more expensive than yours?
No, I'm saying
okay.
His has that, you know, like that Ferrari look, like the 458, 4.8 gets red. It's got silver wheels, no spoiler in the back. You know what I mean? It's very Ferrari-esque.
Yeah.
C8 definitely gets more attention than the C7 because it's
but
new.
the C7s have been around for, you know,
yeah,
quite some time. So
I noticed that driving home, I was like, wow, it's like crazy.
What?
The attention it gets.
Yeah. So Steve, Jason, you can kind of talk too. Talk a little bit about the fact what the visibility is like in this car if you hadn't got the 2LT with the camera.
Oh, well, that's when I was looking for the 1LT. I was actually gonna do a video why it's okay to get a 1LT, and talking to you, it's like you need to go sit in one. So yeah. I went and sat in one, and I wanted a coupe specifically because Jason and I wanted him to have the hardtop convertible, me to have the coupe, because we filmed together all the time, and I wanted to do engine stuff, and then so when I sat in it, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't see anything. Like since I've had the camera on the whole time, the rear camera, and you can see everything. It is like. And in the C7, I had to position my mirrors, like, you stick your head to the glass and go really far out. The C8 I didn't do anything in the mirror. I can see everything in this car with the 2LT. The 1LT, you can't see nothing. Like, nope. I wouldn't even consider, if you have to wait, get a 2LT, save $7,000 up and put it down because it's the best $7,000 you're never going to spend.
I've been in a 1LT car without that camera, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It should be illegal. The amount of visibility you don't have in that thing is incredible, and because of the way that the C8's designed and the longer rear end, you have like a foot or two, maybe more, of total like lack of visibility. You can't see anything. So you definitely need that.
And then take into account, tint your window. When you tint that window, your visibility is going to drop even more. I mean, I love the camera. It's, but it is weird. Some people have said certain cars make it look like the lights are flashing. I thought I was getting pulled over a couple times.
Yeah.
I thought I wasn't getting pulled over.
I was going to say at night, especially the like the HID or LED headlights, they already look kind of blue and they're flashing. Yeah.
Well, so for me, I can't actually speak to driving the car much because I clearly haven't. And I've never driven it with the top up. So I get pretty good visibility because I don't have a roof on. But I will tell you, it's the exact same problem I had backing the Lamborghini out of the driveway. You need to look before you get to the end of the driveway, because once you get to the end of the driveway, when you start to look left and right, the nacelles are in the way. Just like in the Lamborghini, it has the same back window glass, the same nacelles on the back. So you can't see anything. You just have to hope no one's coming. So that's the one negative. So even with the camera, because I had it off the camera, I put it on the camera, still couldn't tell if anybody was coming because it's not like wide enough and angled it, a different direction. So I was like, well, hopefully nobody's coming.
Yeah. And that's kind of the design failure, I guess, of a mid-engine car is that,
correct.
The rearward visibility is poor.
That's why you remember my mind just went blank, and this is the coolest dude you could ever meet, but he was the Lamborghini test driver for decades, and he was the one that came up with flipping the door up in the Lambo and you sit and basically you're sitting outside the car and you're looking backward and then you're steering because you can't see anything behind you.
Yep. So Handyman Clutch says, are you going to be doing different rims on your Stingray Productive Dad pranks?
Oh yes, all of us are. I'm right now looking at black Boston.
I'm doing white wheels. I'm not.
Carrie Glock says, Steve, put a Ferrari badge on it. You'll fool a lot of people. Yeah, you
Probably would.
will. Definitely will.
You know what would be a lot more fun is to take a Ferrari and put some Corvette badges on it. See what people think.
Good God, the backlash of Ferrari owners.
Oh, they would lose their minds. Literally, I bet you would get a letter from Ferrari telling you a cease and desist letter.
Honestly, Ferrari has been known to do that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. They have, 100%.
So we got 163 thumbs ups, guys. That's awesome. It would be really cool to end this with 200, but we'll see. DeVarius King says, Justin, if you could only have one ZR1 or the C8 I haven't driven a C8 yet, so I'm going to say the ZR1. That's the only one I know for sure. I got rid of the C8 because the ZR1 is a better car. The C8 I haven't driven it yet to tell you for sure, but based on what I know right now, I'd keep the ZR1, but we'll see.
Look at the screen and see just
Huh?
I look at the screen, I see this. It's Jason. I'm like, what the heck?
I was trying to read. I couldn't see. Dude, I'm blind. I couldn't see the screen. I was trying to see what people were writing.
Louis C says, how many cars do you think Sioka will get per year? If you're talking about just Z06s per year, what they get their first round of allocations, I think they got 30 in a month. So take that times 12-ish. I mean, it's really hard to say right now because everything's different. I mean, if their allocations stay the same as what they were getting, 30 times 12 is what they'll get a year. But if those fall, which they probably will, you could get 31 month and none the next. Yeah, so Brian says to go on Discord after this, guys. If you haven't joined the Discord team yet, check out the link in the description down below. It will actually allow you to continue the Corvette or car chat. We have a bunch of different sections set up for all different Corvettes. So whatever you want, you can talk about. It's a really cool place. Links in the description down below. Please join. These two are down there as well. We can all have a nice conversation outside of the typical weekly live video we do.
And make sure to subscribe to Vette Syndicate on Instagram because we're always on there. I'm definitely always on there.
That link is also in the description below. So if you follow Vette Syndicate, you're going to see all kinds of happenings that are going to be going on, like the Vets per Vet show we're going to be throwing November 12th. Definitely come out and say hi. Worst case scenario, you'll see some live videos on maybe on YouTube, but definitely on the Vette Syndicate Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and by the way, Tim from Dad's Garage, go check him out on Thursday. He has a new video coming out with his C8 build. And I got to tell you, the guy always builds a really cool car. I am super excited. I've already seen the photos of his build, and I cannot wait for that car to be built.
Well, that's going to be fun.
And he's getting it at MSRP.
That's more amazing than anything nowadays.
Right.
But that's awesome. Any chance he'll have it for the Vets per Vets show?
No, it's not built yet. No.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, man. I literally, I'm like super excited to see it. But Paul, it says, Jason, the same question. If you guys choose one or the other, what would you choose? Is that color or?
No, the C8 or the Z06. But you haven't really driven it enough to answer that question, I don't think.
No. And I'm assuming he's saying the C7 Z06?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, maybe not actually. Maybe he's referring to the C7 Z06 versus the C8 Z06.
Oh, C8 Z06.
Yeah, that's the question I got earlier. I think that was the same question.
I would definitely
the big thing is like until any of us drive the C8 Z06, I can't really tell you if it's better than the ZR1 or if it's better than even a C7 Z06. I have no idea. I've never driven one. So
I know it's
driven
not a
C7
manual,
Z06 and a C7 ZR1, but
so here's my thing. Two things that I like. I like manual because I like to be in control, and I like the rev match sound, all that. The Z06, though, I love that high screaming engine sound because two of my favorite things are sound and then, of course, the driving experience. And I know Steve says, oh, I listen to my radio when I drive. I'm like, really? I'm like, I don't. I literally don't even know. I think my radio probably is kind of sucks. I'm not a big fan of the Bose system in there. But I really don't know because I don't listen to the radio. I mean,
that's what I called Justin on the way home. What shocked me noticeably is I could hear the engine. I could hear the engine and I could hear the exhaust, but I could hear the engine, like, especially when it's downshifting on its own. I could hear cracks and pops, and then I could distinguish between the two. It was crazy because I didn't think I could hear the engine. And I'm still in the governor. I can't go, I'm not under 500 miles. And I'm driving like 70 miles an hour. And you can hear like, whoa, I can hear this thing.
Yeah. You're in a V8, and you'll notice this, especially if you change the exhaust. You really don't. You're not supposed to be able to hear the engine. You should hear the exhaust, not the engine. And you'll notice that if you change the exhaust, you'll hear the exhaust, and that engine noise will disappear.
And yesterday when I was coming back to my house, whenever I was out failing my inspection, I'm cruising down the road. I thought I was in a Tesla. I'm like, I didn't step on the gas. Once I punched it just a little bit, all of a sudden it came to life. But it was so dim. I'm like, am I driving a Vette or am I driving a Tesla? I was underwhelmed on that part of it. But I will say I do like the pops. It is a good sound. The tone is fantastic.
And outside of the car, if you're standing out in the back side of the car, it is just as loud as a C7. Yeah. But when you're in it driving, there's nothing. Whenever the very first car I ever drove, the first C8, was I think February of 2020. And as soon as I got in it and started driving it around, the very first thing out of my mouth was, this needs to be louder. It's just not loud enough.
Right.
Yeah. The boreless system is super freaking loud. It's almost
too loud in a tone that I don't love.
Yeah. They went for more for volume and less for sound. And AWE is the exact opposite. Their volume is a little bit louder, but the tone of that exhaust is a million times better. It's just more refined. You could tell they spent a lot of time making that car sound good.
Yeah. What's funny is, so there's a guy that was here and he had a C8R and he had a Borla. I think he may have done some other things to it, but nonetheless, when I first heard it, I absolutely loved it. The third time I heard it, I was like, that's just annoying.
Yeah. And that's the thing is you love it the first time you hear it because it's something different, something you haven't heard, and it's louder. So you think it sounds better than stock,
right? But
it doesn't. It's one of those things where it's different.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I put the AWE exhaust on my ZR1, I did it only because I wanted black exhaust tips. The stock sound was plenty fine for me. I did not need any more volume. I didn't even need a different sound. I wanted black exhaust tips. So I bought the AWE exhaust system. I installed it with Scott, and right afterwards I get in it and I start it up and I'm like, huh. And then we go for a drive and I'm like, this thing sounds better. Like, I legitimately did not think it was going to sound better. I thought it was going to sound the same, if anything, but I got the black exhaust tips and it sounded phenomenal. It sounded like it was like purring, like almost like a flat plane crank sound. Like just more of a purr versus like a raspy rattle, which is kind of what the stock exhaust is like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Stupid Fast Truck says, does anybody open the rear window on their hardtop convertible to improve the sound? That is something you can do. Who was just telling me that?
Probably me, because you can. I knew that. That's one of the things that I was excited for. Even if the top is up, you can still roll down the back window.
Yeah. I thought
cool.
It wasn't you though. Somebody was just telling me that they do that, and the difference in volume is massive.
Mm-hmm.
Man, who the heck would I have been talking to? I can't remember now. But yeah, you definitely do that. If you roll down just the back window, you're going to hear all the good stuff that happens behind you. That's something you can't do in the coupe. So, but, hey, Steve, I'm with you, man. I would have gotten the coupe too. I'm a coupe kind of guy. Like the Z06 I built, I managed to hit almost 180 grand, and that's not even a convertible. That's a coupe.
See, and I'm a coupe guy as long as if it's a soft top convertible. I'm not like, I love Lamborghini. I love even like the Gallardo Performante is such a cool car. But it's basically the Superleggera as a convertible soft top. So if it would have been like the Superleggera convertible hardtop, then that would have been an amazing car, but it wasn't. Just like the Huracans, they're soft top too.
The first car, honestly, I think the C8 is the first car I have ever even considered in a convertible because of the fact that it's a hard top. Typically, if it's a soft top, it's not even an option. I don't want any part of it. But being a hard top, it is a nice look. It's just coupe, convertible. Whereas before it was coupe and convertible so far down here you can't even see it.
Exactly. I would have
Oh. Hey Justin, what's up? This is JC, the guy you met at what was that dealership? I can't remember the name of it now.
It says Bobette.
No, it wasn't Bobette. That must be a autocorrect thing. It's the dude with the pink shirt, though. We know who he is. I can't remember the name of the dealership now. It begins with a B.
Bowman,
yeah, something like
Florida?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, Bauman or something.
Or Baumnen, yeah, Baumnen Chevrolet.
Baumnen, yeah.
Yeah, it probably autocorrected, but he says, "Do they have markups? Are they on your list?" Steve, when we're done with the live here, send me that list if you still have it.
Oh, it's actually, the list is on Instagram, still down there with everybody's comments, putting all their stuff on there.
Okay. I'll have to check on that because I don't think they were, but our list wasn't totally complete either. I don't even think we had Click Lewis on that list, and they're one of the ones kind of sneakily charging over MSRP. Yeah, Doug Hook says, "I'm with you, Jason. Hate soft top convertibles, but love my C8 hardtop convertible." That's where we're all at. I mean, I'm not a convertible guy, but if someone made me choose convertible, the C8 would be the first time I would ever do that and not hate my life. So,
yeah.
Joe says he got his at Baumnen at MSRP. The C8, yes, but he's referring to the Z06 specifically. So I don't think they were at MSRP for the Z06, but maybe they were. I can't remember if they said they were charging over or not. Yeah. Stephen Rapp, we'll definitely have the list. We'll talk about that next week for sure.
With the 24 shirts, I know. That's awesome.
Yeah,
they're probably pretty close, actually.
It
is at least a dozen.
It's more than a dozen. It was like a dozen and a half.
That was 17.
Yeah. Jose Watkins says, "I would have to go with the coupe. I love seeing that engine through the glass." That's where I'm at with it. That's more important to me than anything.
With carbon fiber.
I mean, no disrespect to General Motors and Corvette. When it's Lamborghini, Ferrari, McLaren, something like that, yes, I want to see the engine name. When it's Chevrolet and Corvette, not that the one in the Z06 doesn't look amazing, I just don't care as much.
We're sending the guys with the pitchforks to your house right now. I'm typing your address in.
I'll set my cat outside.
What's that gonna do?
My cat's fierce, man. I don't have
All
a
right,
dog.
guys. I think we're gonna start wrapping this up. Hopefully this helped you out a little bit. I wanted to give a little bit of a dive into the C8 Corvette ownership experience because these two just got it. They have not experienced the C8 really on any level before this. They're both brand new C8 Corvette owners, and they're both pretty excited about it. So I mean, not that you shouldn't be, because if you guys are waiting for a C8, you're gonna be pumped for it too. Actually, Great White North Corvette, they do kind of do that. Oh, not with the roof up though. Well, kind of actually. With the roof up, you can open up the hatch and you can see the engine bay with something that AMT Custom Designs makes, which is the clear cover. That's probably something that's in Jason's future, if I had to guess, because it is a pretty cool option for a car show, especially. You pop your top up like that. Now you got the best of both worlds. You got the convertible, and you can still see the engine. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys or talk a little bit about the ownership experience because it is. I know a lot of you out there are still waiting for your C8s, and until you actually get your hands on the car, it's nice to hear other people's ownership experience, especially when they have no other experience with the car. So they just got the car, they're both loving it, and the mods are set to begin, and these guys are going to go freaking crazy. And we may have something for you next week. We may be doing a live install of something next week on a C8. So you're definitely going to want to stay tuned for that, because that's just the beginning. We're going to be doing all kinds of mods. These two are especially, so definitely stay tuned for that, guys. But if you could, before we hang up, before we end this video, smash that thumbs up button. Let us know you're liking the content so we can keep doing this kind of stuff for you. Like I said, it really helps the channel. It helps the community. It helps Vette Syndicate. We're all good if you hit that thumbs up button. But other than that, guys, I think we're going to wrap this one up. So, yeah, I guess we'll catch you guys the same time, same place next week.
Is that correct?
No, it's not. So it will be most likely Sunday next week instead of Monday. So I'm going to SEMA and I'm leaving Monday. That's another thing, guys. If any of you are going to SEMA and you'd like to meet up, shoot me an email, horsepowerobsessed@gmail.com. We can meet up. We can have, we can hang out a little bit. I'm going to be doing some live videos from there as well. So it'd be cool to meet up with you. But next week's live is going to be on Sunday, and we're going to be doing a live install on a Corvette, a C8 Corvette. So I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet. You'll have to tune in to see it. But
we're going to do a new Z06 engine in the C8.
Yeah, we're just rocking it.
Yeah, the wrecked one that we just looked at.
Exactly.
That engine is on its way to Dallas, Fort Worth right now.
Yep.
All right, guys. We'll see you Sunday at 7:30 p.m.